right, welcome students and advisors to the 2021 Student State Leadership Conference. We made it. If we have not met yet, my name is Matt Alley. I'm director of the Michigan Association of Student Councils and Honor Societies, and we could not be more excited to have you here at this event. We've actually been planning this event for over 14 months. It's taken a lot of changes as new information has come our way, but none of that matters. We have it set. We are here, and we're absolutely excited to welcome you to this year's event. Now, before we get started, this is more of a pre-conference discussion. So I wanted to briefly explain a little bit about our conference platform and our conference format before we get rolling into tonight's festivities. Now, I've worked with a lot of you already. From the start of the year, we've actually seen about 4,000 students. So many of you on this call, we've already had a chance to hang out. You're already pretty familiar with the Event Owl Conference platform. But for those of our friends that are new, guys, briefly want to cover how this process works so everybody has a very, very enjoyable experience. So right now, first session, you made it here, buckets, well done. But on our left-hand side, you can see our entire conference agenda. The agenda unfolds in chronological order, and all of our slots here have descriptions, have links to join different sessions. We have good information and resources, and at the bottom of every single agenda page is this chat box. This chat box is actually a pretty crucial function for this year's conference. What we would like students to do is, if you hit any snags. I mean, we've all been living in this digital world for over a year, so we know that there might be little issues here and there with some of the Zoom links to make sure you get into the right sessions. If you have any trouble at all, please, please, please feel free to drop your name and what that issue is into the chat box, and me and my team will assist you as soon as possible. We do appreciate a little bit of patience in the digital world as we try to make sure that all of our participants have a great conference experience. The other piece I want to say just before the conference gets started is all of our students were also sent a breakout letter and a breakout number. Now, the number we're actually going to use tonight, and our host school students will bring it up with you again, but the number coordinates to our Olympic Games session. So after this opening ceremonies, when this Zoom ends, all of our students will get back into the Event Owl platform. You'll click on the Olympic Game tab. You will find your Olympic Game room number, and you'll join that session to interact with our host school students for some very fun, uplifting digital games before we get into our Michigan Student Voice presentations. The very, very last piece that I want to touch on before we get right into the action, it is about positive energy and positivity. It's been a very, very difficult year for all of us. This event is something that, just like you, myself and Eisenhower have been looking forward to for so long. And we want to make sure that all of our students enjoy this weekend, because everything we've been doing and everything we've been planning, it's all for you. And there's a lot of great content this weekend. So when we're posting in the chats, when we're sharing different ideas and concepts, let's make sure it's all positive. We want to make sure we stay focused on our presenters, focused on our speakers. And when we do drop something in the chat, which we will, there are tons of opportunities for engagement, to share ideas, for positive discussion. Let's just make sure that we're being mindful and respectful of everybody else that's involved in our state conference. So with that said, for all of our students, for all of our advisors, it is now time for you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Welcome to the Friday evening edition of the Leadership Report. I'm your host, Alexis Anthus.
And I'm your other host, Dalton Crum. Thank you for joining us this evening.
On tonight's special edition, we recap the stories that made 2020 such a disaster of a year.
Whoa. Okay. Yeah, it was rough, but let's not be dramatic about it.
Oh, you want to go there? Okay, let me quickly run down this list for you. Story number 1, murder hornets. That's right, these gigantic demons came to America this past year.
Story number 2, the Pentagon releases real photos of UFOs. You heard that correctly. Actual photos of unidentified flying objects were released, all but confirming extraterrestrial life.
Okay, well, that's wonderful news. New exciting space friends.
Have you ever seen the movie Aliens? Independence Day? E.T.?
But ET was adorable.
Moving on, this year also brought us the following: a mega asteroid narrowly missing Earth. Cicadas will come out of their 17-year hibernation. The most venomous caterpillar was discovered, and courts ruled that Subway bread is, in fact, not made of actual bread.
Yeah, I never thought that bread tasted right. Anyways, here's a picture of Fire NATO.
Yeah, well, there's really no defending that.
I am so sick of breaking news. Sick of the fighting, tired of the politics, the dread and glorifying of the world's troubles, all for attention.
What our generation really needs isn't breaking news, it's to break the news. We need to end this cycle. It is time we learn how to lead in our own way, to leave an impact on others around us, and make our own headlines. But how?
I think I can help. It's not an overnight cure, but I think it's a start. Let's go live to our on-site correspondent, Hunter, who is currently attending the 2021 Virtual Student Leadership State Conference. Hi, Hunter, are you there?
I'm here, and wow, do we have great timing. The opening remarks for the state conference from the 2020 Board of Delegate President are just about to get underway. Before we hear from the BOD President, Mitchell Meyer, I want to learn about what break the news means to all of you watching at home. And one word in the chat, what does this phrase mean to you? Okay, it looks like President Myers is ready to go. Let's sit back and hear what he has to say.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mitchell Meyer. I am a senior at Monroe High School in Center 8, and today I have the privilege of welcoming you all to the first ever MASC Virtual States Conference. Although we could not meet in person this year, there are so many silver linings to this alternative. We have 500 attendees joining us this weekend. That means that we have 500 dedicated students, advisors, and school administrators seeking to grow themselves as leaders and to recognize the outstanding achievements of so many students and schools over this past year. I would like to start with a quote from Daniel Carnegie that I believe symbolizes what leadership has meant over this past year. Most of the important things in this world have been accomplished by people who have kept on trying when there seemed to be no hope at all. That was Dale Carnegie. As leaders, it is our job to meet challenges and persevere to create opportunities for growth. This weekend will be a testament to that. We are here to highlight all that we as leaders have been able to accomplish during this past year. Although I am not winning any awards, unless of course Matt wants to surprise me one. You know, Matt, just toss one my way. It'd be cool. There are some people that I would like to thank for their dedication and hard work during this past year. And I'd like to specifically thank them for their efforts towards this weekend. I would first like to give an enormous thank you to our amazing host, Eisenhower High School. Hosting an event of this capacity is extremely challenging, even in ordinary years. Eisenhower was able to completely reorganize this entire event during such a chaotic year. It speaks volumes about their commitment to MASC and their capabilities as a team and as leaders. I am very excited to see how much of an amazing job they've done over the course of this weekend. So if you could all please send a little thank you in the chat for our amazing host school. Next, I would like to give an enormous thank you to all the staff, advisors, and teachers here with us this weekend. Without your continued support and sacrifice, there would not be any students here today. Even more importantly, they would not be able to participate in amazing extracurriculars like student government, which expands their education beyond the classroom. This year has shown how vital dedicated teachers and administration are. It is educators such as yourselves that inspire young minds. Your willingness to always go the extra mile exemplifies how hard work truly pays off. Every student here is grateful for the time and commitment you have made to them. I'd also like to thank Matt Alley and all the MASC staff and directors for making this event possible. Without you, the students would not be able to have the platform to build leadership, character, and compassion. Above all, you have not only created this opportunity for student voice to be heard, but have helped spread it across the entire country. We are so appreciative for the unlimited opportunities that you have provided for us. To all the seniors here with us today and this weekend, I'm sorry to say that we have been robbed. Our last school dance, our last football game, our last time walking down the halls, we thought that being a senior and going through our last was the hardest part. But this year, many of us did not even get that chance. Many of our lasts were taken from us by this horrific global pandemic. But right now, in this moment, we have our last states conference. We get to experience the joy of listening to keynote speakers, watching our fellow classmates, and celebrating our peers' achievements. The only downside to this alternative is that you're missing out on the food, which I'll let you decide if that's actually a good or bad thing. We have this time, here and now, to make the most of this last. So I raise the challenge to you. Make this event special. With all that being said, I'd like to officially welcome each and every one of you to the 2021 MASSP States Conference.
We have therefore made the assessment that COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
Tonight, the confirmed global death toll from COVID just reached 1 million, a staggering figure.
Japan and the International Olympic Committee decided to postpone this summer's games to 2021.
Deadly wildfire raging up and down the West Coast.
More than 10 million acres charred.
Very sad news to tell the sports world. Retired Los Angeles Lakers basketball star Kobe Bryant has been killed in a helicopter crash.
Night killer hornets invading the U.S. and Canada.
Breaking news from Lebanon. The capital, Beirut, has been hit by a massive explosion.
The winter storm ravaging the south. Texas hit hardest, leaving more than 3 million in the state without power.
I feel like that we are treated differently than other people.
Don't stop. Do not stop.
We are black people and we shouldn't have to feel like this. We shouldn't have to protest because y'all are treating us wrong.
Now to the celebration of Pride. 2020 marked 50 years since the first march.
Confused? Me too. For all of you missing prom, I'm hosting this Friday night.
Some positive rays. Pet adoptions are soaring. Around the country, happy dogs.
Gratitude has taken on a whole new meaning.
The people in the hospitals wearing uniforms, they're the heroes.
This was just a monitoring area, but we were experiencing a lot of anxiety and a lot of panic attacks. What we do is we take that fear and we make it enjoyable.
Hello, leaders, and welcome to the 2021 Michigan Student Leadership Conference. My name is Ella Cadets.
And I am Bianca Candela, and we are your chairs for this year's state conference. Eisenhower High School is beyond excited to be able to host this conference for all of you. This past year has turned all of our worlds upside down and created a new normal that is not normal at all. We have all had to try to find ways to cope with the isolation and the absence of events, such as school functions and sports seasons. But we believe it is important, now more than ever, for student leaders to come together to reignite your passions in order to keep making a positive impact in our communities.
Eisenhower is so excited that you have come to take advantage of this opportunity and bring even more enthusiasm and more energy to this year's conference than you have in years past. Although many negatives have been highlighted during these unprecedented times, there has been even more new opportunities to grow and connect as leaders. So let us finally get together, get hype, create our own headlines, and most importantly, break the news.
We would now like to introduce our incredible head of events that made this weekend possible for all of you. Please show them some love in the chat as we introduce our team to you.
Opening ceremony heads, Alexis Anthus and Dalton Crum.
Digital activity heads, Stephen Petrovsky and Gabriela Adragna.
Service project heads, Grace Walters and Madeline Beck.
Keynote speaker heads, Grace Bava and Juliana Sherritt.
Fundraising head, Taylor Byrne.
Pre-conference content heads, Miranda Smith, Amanda Cozio, and Bella Ventimiglia.
Lip dub heads, Mary Kitsonas and Gretchen Coolin.
Communications and social media heads, Mallory Walagora and Jana Valenti. And finally, your 2021 state conference chairs, myself, Bianca Candela,
and Ella Cadets.
Okay, let's get back to the broadcast.
Good evening. I'm your traffic correspondent, Abby Bierman, and we are seeing a massive movement of energy and happiness right now. I'm not exactly sure what's going on out there, but we do know that schools across Michigan have made the virtual trip to attend this year's 2021 Student Leadership State Conference. We received this video footage titled Parade of Schools, and best we can tell, these schools have lost their minds, which we fully endorse and support. We want to thank and highlight the following schools for joining us this year. Once your school video hits, show some love in the chat.
I'm Wenger, and we're North Farming to the student state. It's a great day to be a Raven.
Getting back to our leadership newscast, I'm your sports analyst, Hunter. And wow, do we have some matchups taking place tonight. In just a few minutes, you, yes, you, are the main events in our 2021 Virtual Olympic Games. Before we get to the action, let me explain what happens from here. All students were issued a specific number group before the conference began. This number will be your Zoom room for our next session. Looking at this slide, you can see our next agenda item in Event Owl is our Virtual Olympic Games. In just a moment, this Zoom meeting will end. Once we say goodbye, go directly back to Event Owl and use your number group to select your virtual game session room. These small group competitions will test your mental, your physical, and your cyber fitness against the top leaders across the state. Remember, no crying, or I'll know. After the end of our virtual games, we will have a 10-minute virtual snack break. We will get back to the action with our Michigan Student Voice and Unsung Hero presentations beginning at 8 p.m. And we might have a special guest speaker as well. Use the tab titled General Session, MSV, and Unsung to enter this room at 8 p.m. With that said, we will end this Zoom, find your session room, and may the best leaders win.
Last call before you drop. We'll start Michigan Student Voice at 7:20. Change it up for our guest speaker, 7:20. So while we wait for people to make their way out of this meeting, team, we're at 6:30. Virtual games are going to go till 7:10. Okay, so the message we'll broadcast out to our Olympic game teams is we will end at 7:10. There's a 10-minute break, so we will start Michigan Student Voice right at 7:20. So if you want to relay that message to our teams, 7:10, end of games, tell them to take a 10-minute break, and then they'll join via the Michigan Student Voice link at 7:20. And boy, did you pick a good time to have your best, your best run of that. That went really, really well. You should be very, very proud. All right, for anybody still in this room, and you might have joined just a little bit late as we were explaining it, this Zoom is about to end. You're gonna go back onto Event Owl. You're gonna find the Olympic Game tab, and you're gonna find your Olympic Game number and enter into that room. And it looks like I just had one more person join, may have been joining a little bit late. So one more time, this first session is about to end. You're going to go to our Event Owl platform, find the Olympic Game tab, find your Olympic Game room, and have some fun until 7:10. And we'll meet back up 7:20 in the Michigan Student Voice Room. Thank you, everybody, so much. Great job, host school kids. I will see you in our next webinar in just a couple minutes.